I was an insane child. I accepted Christ at the age of 9 years old because I feared my mother and dad were going to snap my neck in my sleep. I didn't, with the mentality of a 9-year-old, I figured if I died, I was going to hell, and I'd have probably busted the gates off. I made sure my mom and dad prayed a lot. And my dad passed away when I was 19 years old. He was 51, had lymphatic leukemia. And he was the religious leader of the home. We were in church every Sunday, twice, every Wednesday. He was a deacon in the church. And I made sure that he stayed embarrassed and prayed a lot. And ended up my senior year, I never made good grades, I never studied, never brought books home. And my senior year, last 9 weeks, I said, I'm gonna make the honor roll and show him I can do it. And that's the first time he ever cursed me. He was so upset, he knew I could do it all along. But I didn't care. And I got married at the ripe old age of 20, and that lasted about 18 years. Had 2 children. I got a son that's 37, 36, and my daughter's 33. I probably got it wrong. They'll let me know when they see the video. But with all the hell I put them through with divorces and everything else, they turned out awesome. They're very independent. They don't ask for money. They've given me great grandchildren. Today, earlier, trying to kind of plan for this, I was trying to think about the most significant point that I recognized God was in my life. And I'd have to say it was right before my first divorce. We were Catholic at the time, and I was actually a reserve sheriff's deputy. And we would go to church. We'd had the kids in catechism and just trying to be the all-American family, but I was a failure. I had a job making a lot of money. In fact, I hired in on that job when I was 19 years old, and I retired from that job 5 years ago. And like I said, financed 2 divorces, but the most significant time I can say that I knew God existed, without a doubt in my mind. I was in church one Sunday morning, feeling very insignificant, having my own little pity party. And I actually prayed that God would show me that I made a difference for somebody, anybody, didn't matter who it was. And when Mass was over, we bustled out to the back parking lot, got in the car and went out the back entrance and just, going about our way on the way home, and came to a 4-way stop, and the lady in front of us had 2 small kids in the car. And she stopped at the stop sign, looked both ways, and took off right in front of a Dodge truck and got broadsided right in front of my face. And I went ahead and pulled through the intersection, and I went to get out of the car. I didn't even take it out of drive. And my wife at the time, she slid over and grabbed the wheel and took the kids on down the road so they wouldn't have to see what was going on. And I got out and helped this lady. She was panicking. And she had, the youngest one was probably 2 years old. It was in a car seat and it was crying. It was on the side of the impact. And the little boy, he was probably 4. He was not in a car seat, but he was buckled in. And the car spun around so fast in the road, the centrifugal force sunk him back in the seat, and the seat belts compressed him. And he wasn't breathing, he wasn't moving. And I had this mother over my shoulder screaming, and I went ahead and took the baby out that was crying. I took the car seat and all, and I gave it to her to kind of occupy her. And I went back, and I didn't have my pocket knife on me because I was in my dress clothes. And I ended up having to pull the seatbelt tighter to get it loose, and I heard something pop. And it just about broke my heart because I felt like I'd broke the little boy's rib. And as soon as I got the seatbelt loose, he gasped. He took a huge breath, and it was on. So I knew he was okay. And by the time I got him out, the ambulance had already got there. And the lady, she took off, and I had called the hospital that night to check on him. And they had already released everybody. So I really felt good about it. And a week later, I got a letter in the mail. And she was telling me how much it meant for me to be there. And that's when I knew. We met in Man Shack at Middendorf's and had dinner and been in touch with each other every day since. And she really showed me what it was to have a walk of faith. And the only thing I had asked God for in my next mate, spouse, whatever it was going to be, was to give me a godly woman. And he just overdid it. She's godly, she's beautiful, she's got a heart of gold. She's everything I've ever dreamed of. She hunts with me, fishes with me, rides motorcycles with me. I feel guilty having fun without her. And she's a very special person, but she keeps me straight. We don't argue. We may disagree once in a while, but she lets me have my space and I let her have hers. And we come back together and it's all good. It's the way it's supposed to be. And I guess about 5 years ago, we got involved with In the Wind Ministries, and just looking for a place to ride a motorcycle and we had moved from Santa Ma to Maurepas, and we didn't have a home church. We had been going to Healing Place in Baton Rouge, and it was just too far to drive. So we got tied up with In the Wind, and they were having services at the Green Barn and the Harley Shop in Hammond, and just fell in there and fell in love with it. The people were so accepting, so loving, and there was no judgment. Nobody cared about your past. They just wanted you there. And it got to be very, very special. We love our pastor. We love our whole church family. Pastor T had preached a sermon about, what do you want in your circle of life, the things that matter to you. Who do you want there? What do you want there? And it was a 3 or 4 part series, and we made every one of them, and I'm blessed for that. But God's given me exactly what I wanted in my circle. And I guess it's been 2 years now since the Great Flood, they call it. And we had people come from southern Illinois, and they brought down trucks and trailer loads of stuff to help people that had flooded. And I had volunteered to go, and we had a bunch of us. And Pastor T prayed over all the stuff they brought, and we ended up emptying the trailers and trucks out. And we filled up 2 more trucks and trailers. And so we had 3 or 4 of us that went out. And we gave away stuff for 2 days. And when it was time for them to go home, we had just secured the church on Bear Island Road. And we backed those trucks and trailers up and unloaded it, and it looked like we had more than we started with. And that everybody's in awe when they read the passages about the fish and the bread, but I've seen it with my own eyes. And we ended up blessing a lot of daycares and nursing homes, hospitals, just, you know, different places to get rid of the stuff. You know, we didn't want to keep it. It was a gift. And, I had, when we had the flood in Houston, I had called Pastor T and asked him, you know, I want to do what Illinois did for us. I said, I want to hook up a trailer, I want to take my truck, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to bless somebody. And at that point in time, him being the genius he is, he said, you just got yourself appointed head of disaster relief in the Wind Ministries. And I stood there with my mouth open for quite a while. I said, okay. You know, I've asked God to use me and I'm not backing up. So we ended up coordinating, I think it was 22 churches total. And it was pastors and their wives and my wife and myself and Pastor T and his wife. And one of the local churches here, Life Church, they had donated a gymnasium for us to collect and store stuff in. And we sent many, many truckloads of stuff over there. We collected a lot, and it was really a blessing. And it's just, when you step up, when God calls you and you step up, you never know what you're stepping up into. But his plan is always so much bigger than ours, and you can't fail. If he's on your side, you can't. I learned a lot. And if I could go back and change anything in my life, I probably wouldn't. I know God was there all along, even when I didn't want him there. He let me do things my way until I figured out that his way was better. I could probably talk to you for about 2 or 3 days, filling you in on all the stuff I did, but I've been through drugs, I've been through alcohol, I was a whoremonger, I was as low as they came. And through it all, he forgave me.